Greetings, fellow test subjects. Test subject 1337 here for Aperture Gaming Reviews. They make it, we test it, you play it. And welcome to Aperture Gaming Reviews' 6th annual End of the Year Award Show. Whether you're a long-time subscriber or a first-time watcher, we hope you find this show and any other content here on this channel entertaining. And if you are a first-time watcher, we please hope you consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Now, as with every year, before we get into the show itself, there's a couple of rules and notes we need to go over. First of all, so here's what. At the start of this year, Aperture Gaming Reviews tried to be a little more interactive. We tried having some interactive shows, and that experiment didn't work out too well. We did it twice, but there was no response or very little. So here's what. But because of that, we actually did generate 2 new awards categories for this year. They will be noted and presented, and then we'll be removing them from future awards. We will try the interaction again, but just not right now. So yeah, there's that. Next, for those of you that have been following along with me in this channel, you'll notice that we reviewed a lot of titles from previous years. So basically for this year, if I played the game, if I reviewed it, so it is then up for grabs for almost any of the awards for this year. There are a few exceptions though. For starters, the final 3 awards, the big 3, it has to be to a studio or game that did something or was released this year. The other exception to that rule is the start, because well, here's what. Every year we see who will win and who will take home the golden controller for the best of that category, along with the top 3 for the best of the year. But before we get to the top and the best, and before we get to the first we have to get through the bad and the worst. So yeah, we have to get through, we open every show with pointing out the flaws and mistakes of games and game companies that happened this year. So yeah, hopefully we will learn from these mistakes and will not repeat them in the upcoming year. So let's get into this review, shall we? Worst game. Pirate Fi, or Pirate FI. Now this product, and I use the word product, was developed by Seaworth Interactive. It was given the look of a free-to-play PC game, but actually it was just designed to steal the personal information off your computer. While I did not play this title, I actually had it on my wish list, and I almost did install it, so I dodged a bullet there. The silver goes to Chronos Time and Chronos Time 2, my first ever double feature for this year. Now, if you want to waste $2 and, I don't know, about 10 minutes of your time, then this would definitely be for you. It was advertised as being something that, oh, you have to solve these puzzles, but it's basically just read the instructions and push the buttons. It was like way too simple. I found it a little insulting, and even though I lost like roughly $1.50 on this, that's why I took silver honors. But the gold goes to City of Titans, the best of the worst. Now, here's the thing. After I reviewed did my review for City of Titans, I checked, and unfortunately, they only had a 10-year window for when you could try to reclaim your refund. Seems how it's been 12 years, coming up on 13. Oh, yeah, so I missed the boat on that. So here's the thing. This is a big if. If this project ever gets done, here's what. First off, it has to be free to play, but seeing as how they're charging you $50 on the site to get the installer, that's not going to happen. Secondly, I'd have to say it would be where you pay the money for it, you pay it, and then you play it. Kind of like how, you buy a video game and you play it. It's done. That would be the only way I would play this title. But I'm kind of thinking that won't be. I'm wondering if this is going to be a monthly subscription thing. Well, here's what will happen. If it's that case, here's what will happen. Since I already paid the money for this, I should have like a month or so, maybe a little more of playtime. But the instant the timer runs out and they ask me for more money, no. They are not going to get another thin red cent out of me. So yeah, congratulations, City of Titans. You are the best of the worst. Worst studio. Microsoft. Taking the bronze is, well, Microsoft. Now, this does not affect me directly, but here's what. They actually upped the amount for the Game Pass starting this year. So, while I do have an Xbox system and I have a few Xbox games, this doesn't directly affect me, but still, it seems kind of a cheap shot. Well, or not so cheap shot. And I heard they made a few mistakes this year. Like, they released Battlefield on all platforms, not just console exclusivity, so that kind of hurt them. And I've heard a rumor that they may have scrapped a new console idea, so I don't know. Taking the silver for Worst Studio of the Year goes to Crafton. If you're wondering why this name sounds familiar, it is the publisher of Subnautica 2, which will be out in 2026. Why? Well, here's what happened. In July of 2025, Crafton replaced the CEO and two of the co-founders of Unknown Worlds with their own person. Why did they do this? Because they wanted to push the game back to 2026, because if the game was actually released early or on time, then the development team would have gotten bonuses of up to $250 million. So yeah, they removed the three people in charge of this game, replaced it with their own person, and prevented the fans from getting it and the people who worked on it from getting paid. Honestly, I was interested in the Subnautica series. I was going to look into it, but after hearing about this, I don't think I want this company to get any of my money. So, buyer beware. And the award for Worst Studio of the Year goes to Nintendo. Now, on the screen, you'll be seeing footage of Pal World. And this is footage I took from last year. I just want to clarify that. Why? Well, here's what. Last year, I wanted to name Pal World as the New Kid on the Block Award. But after the lawsuits started happening, I didn't want there to be any odd complications or problems, so I had to find a new title, a different new kid on the block. But here's what. As much as I love Nintendo and the products that they have and some stuff that I want to get later on, this year, Nintendo has been doing a lot of stuff, like, aside from the whole Pal World lawsuit, which is just a big mess, Nintendo has been doing some other kind of shady things. Like, they released a game that's pretty much Pal World. It's kind of like a mocking Pal World by releasing their own version of it. They've had a lawsuit where they stole the artwork of someone who made one of their Pokemon to use in their own digital card game. And they even filed a lawsuit against a charity organization where they said, oh, you can't play our video games and use it to help raise money for a charity. So yeah, I know there's the term Nintendo fanboy, and that's pretty much a derogatory term at this point, I'm guessing. So yeah, while I am excited for the Mario movie, the Zelda movie, and some other Nintendo games coming out, I just cannot support or condone their actions that they have done since 2024 up through 2025. So they need to do some work. Unfortunately, they win the award for Worst Studio of the Year. Trust issues. Warner Brothers. Now, technically Warner Brothers is not a video game company itself, but, well, here's what. Warner Brothers has done some things interesting this year. They shut down Monolith Productions, which was the studio that made the Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War games, and those are the studios that provide us the Nemesis system, and we don't have that anyplace else, so that's kind of sad. Also, by shutting down that studio, it shut down the Wonder Woman game. And aside from some of their actions for like streaming services, they've also had some weird issues with their movies, including but not limited to the Looney Tunes movie The Day the Earth Blew Up, how we had to fight tooth and nail to get to the release of the Coyote vs. Acme film coming out next year, and how they made the Batgirl film and then they just shelved it for tax purposes. And speaking of, so they do all that, and then of course they're still constantly making Teen Titans Go. So yeah, well, not a game studio, they do have some game stuff, but yeah, they've done some stuff which I'm having trust issues with Warner Brothers. Batman, Aztec, that film at least looks interesting, so there's that. So that takes bronze. Taking silver is Mountaintop Studios. Now, why? This studio, they made the game Spectre Divide, and it was an independent studio, and they wanted this game to succeed so much that they poured $80 million into it. But it didn't quite live up to their expectations, so the money they put all into it from tournaments and events, they took the money and ran. Now, I was reading about this and doing the research, and someone said this hurts other independent studios because now, yeah, since it was an independent studio, people are going to have maybe some trust issues with other independent studios, or trying to back them and support them. So thank you, Mountaintop Studios. So yeah, but taking home the top honors for trust issues, the gold goes to Iron Galaxy. They are the team that did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, the remake that came out earlier this year. Now, originally, we weren't even going to get this title because something happened after the first remake of 1 and 2 came out. But then we got this. I was like, oh boy. But then it was announced they were checking out the story mode. I was like, oh. I hoped it was a publicity stunt, but unfortunately it was not. So, while I do enjoy the game, I just kind of wish they'd, left the story in there. The New Kid on the Block. South of Midnight. Now, when I first saw this title, the preview for it, I was like, whoa, this game's gonna look amazing. And I was right. The game looks amazing, it plays really well, and it has an interesting story, and I also love the soundtrack to it. And I like how, for some aspects, it has the look and feel of a stop-motion film, which I am a sucker for, so I love that visual style. So yeah, I really enjoyed playing this game, and I'm glad it finally came out and I got to play it. Series Gundam Breaker 4. Now, I have played some other Gundam titles in the past, but I never played one where you could actually customize the look of your Gundam. I like how it's basically like acknowledging that Gundam is a media franchise, but I also like the fact how, like, I could have, the head from this Gundam show, but I could have the weapons from this Gundam show, and then there was this other Gundam game. And I thought the really cool thing was how, like, to get pieces or full sets, they actually made the boxes, the pieces come in boxes that looked like they were from the retail store in the real world. So, a nice little creative touch there. It was a really fun getting to try this new series in the Gundam franchise. Single player. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. This was a kind of a tough category this year. On the one hand, I had played a lot of games that do have the multiplayer function, and my single-player gaming was kind of diminished. And on the other hand, of all the single-player games I did play, they were all fun, so it was hard to pick one, but I think I made the right choice. Lollipop Chainsaw, the Repop Edition. The music is entertaining, the graphics look good, and it was just a fun concept. With so many zombie-based video games out there, it's almost like Dead Rising, only it was just hilarious because, well, you use a chainsaw. And I have to admit, it was very entertaining, very funny, and the fact that I replayed multiple stages multiple times, that's clearly a sign that it was fun and worth it. Multiplayer. Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, when Monster Hunter World was the first of the franchise that I was introduced to with I have a group of friends, and on a certain day of the week we meet up and we play multiplayer video games, and Monster Hunter Wilds was our big one. After doing Monster Hunter World, which I had a little trouble with, Monster Hunter Wild, I'm glad it introduced the game to like all the newcomers, but for all of us people who played the previous one, it was a nice way for us to get together and be able to actually enjoy the game and play it together. I had fun playing it, and yeah, it definitely earns the title for the best multiplayer of the year. Best free-to-play game. City of Heroes Homecoming. Oh man. So yeah, this title came out last year, and I was hesitant to play it because I was just so unsure after what happened after devoting so much time to the original game and then having NCSoft take it away from us. But it's been a year, and NCSoft, after giving it the official blessing, I am for it to be, hosted on its own private server. I'm happy it's back. I had so many memories with this game. It was such fun to play, and then it came back, and I was like, yes, thank you. And I love how this gives me a chance to try some new things and play it all over again and catch up to where I left off and see how all the new updates are happening. and a new update just recently happened. So give it a check out if you haven't.
Plot.
The Altars. Now this is a pretty interesting idea for a video game story. You're in space, it's the future, and the only way for you to survive is to make clones of yourself to help you repair your ship and navigate away from the impending environmental doom. And with a supercomputer that is so advanced that it's able to make clones of you that have lived and had different moments and experiences in your life, thus helping you in certain areas. So yeah, I thought that was a very unique idea and concept for the plot of this game, and for any other game.
Graphics.
Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. A lot of games have a lot of different styles. Some go for cartoony, some go for hyperrealism, and some go for that balance that's in between. But I liked this because, as someone who actually was alive during the 1990s, it was just so great to see how they had everything look and feel like it was straight from the 90s. Like I really like the detail they put into for like the VHS cassettes and the cases that held them. So yeah, it was nice to see that again. Seeing as how well the 90s is now over 25 years gone, but yeah, so they really did good work for that realism and for capturing the era, the look and feel of it.
Audio.
There are two winners for this award. The first one is Guitar Hero Live. Now, this was the last entry in the franchise, and here's what, they did some things that were different. Like they changed how you handle the controls, and while I'm not a big fan of it, I'm not going to complain about them for trying something different, especially near the end of the game. And also, it was no longer third-person cartoon characters or customize your own character and customize your band name, but actually first-person and all these live venues. So I thought it was interesting. And while the catalog may be limited now that the online features are gone, I like games like this because it does introduce you to music that maybe there's some titles you haven't heard of, and maybe you'll like them and maybe you won't, but it's nice. And the other award goes to Brutal Legend. Now, earlier this year, unfortunately, we lost the Prince of Darkness himself, Ozzy Osbourne, who plays a vital role as one of the characters in the game. But man, when this title first was announced, I saw it and I was like, oh man, this looks awesome. Has a great voice cast and also a great track list, and it's a really fun game to play. And actually, because of me playing this game, I actually discovered a few new songs I liked, which I added to my personal music library. So both of these titles are definitely a joy for the ears.
The rewards category. Refake and or rebreak.
Star Wars Battlefront 2, the 2017 edition. Now, the footage that I'm showing is from Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005 edition. So yeah, the first game came out in 2004, and then this one came out in 2005, and then 12 years later they tried it again, but apparently there were some problems. When I was doing research on this, here's what I found out. It says that, quote, Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017 was not popular at launch primarily due to its heavily criticized pay-to-win microtransaction and loot box system. Other factors contributing to its negative reception included a lack of single-player content, a poorly designed progression system tied to microtransactions, and general gameplay issues like lack of weapon variety and repetitive enemy encounters. End quote. So yeah, I've played Star Wars games, I think I've played some Battlefront games, and I have played Star Wars Battlefront, I remember back 20 years ago. So while I do enjoy the old game, it's sad to see that the second game, when it was re-released in 2017, caused a problem.
Regret.
Taxi Rush. Now, when I got this title, I was thinking, oh, it's gonna be like another crazy taxi game. And while it simultaneously was and was not, well, here's what. It's no longer even listed on Steam. I think I got it for like a discount, and it's not even being maintained, so I think it's just been up and abandoned by the developer at this point. So it's a regret that, yeah, I bought it, yeah, it was cheap, and yeah, it was along the lines of Crazy Taxi, but I kind of felt like they could have done a little more with it.
Remake.
Okami HD. A while ago, Clover Studios released two games, the Beautiful Joe franchise and Okami. I was a fan of Beautiful Joe, and I was focused solely on that, so I didn't really give Okami much of a look. But one of my friends was a huge fan of it, and this year I had the chance to play it, and I was like, okay, I can see what all the fuss is about. It's a fun game, unique art style, and very entertaining, and I'm glad I got a chance to try it in the remake format.
Reboot.
XCOM, Enemy Unknown. Now, this title, it was in development for 4 years, and from what I've read, it is considered to be one of the best games that's ever been made, and it helped revive the turn-based strategy genre for the 2010s. Now, I actually heard about this game when someone else reviewed it, and they said how it was a reboot from 2 other games, and I like it, and it's pretty cool how it helped the series and the genre, and I find it a fun title. It is a little unforgiving in some aspects, especially with the whole how when you first start out, your professional soldiers are unable to hit the broadside of a barn, but if you can figure out the learning curve and the difficulty, it is a fun title.
Re-release.
Yooka-Laylee. In honor of the remaster that came out this year, I gave this game a shot, and I'm glad I did. It reminded me of Donkey Kong 64 and, of course, Banjo-Kazooie. It was a fun title, and I really liked the idea behind it, especially how you use the pages to expand the worlds inside the hub world of Hivory Tower. It's fun, it breaks the fourth wall, it's self-aware, it's hilarious. It was a really enjoyable game. And now that the remaster is out, that it includes more and some different items. Hopefully, the game just got better and better.
Repackaged.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. Okay, so while I am, having some trust issues with Iron Galaxy themselves for taking out the career mode, I do like the games. It's fun, it's nice getting back into this, and like I said, at first we thought we weren't even going to get these 2 games repackaged and re-released, so it's a good thing. It's fun, all the stuff has been updated, and I like it. It's a fun game to play, and great visuals, great audio. Yeah, like I said, I just wish hopefully at some point we get a story mode DLC reinstalled, so hopefully that'll work.
Refreshing.
Ruffy and the Riverside. This was a bit of a hard category for me to figure out, but I think this is the best winner for this. I mean, being able to take the texture element from one item in the world around you and then slap it onto another element to help you, like being able to turn a waterfall into a climbable tree bark or cooling off a pit of lava with ice. I think I liked how that worked out. It was a fun idea that took some time and creativity, and very interesting visual style for the game, so definitely worthy of the refreshing award.
Rejoice.
FBC Firebreak. Now, it's been a few years since I played Control, but it was pretty fun getting back into that universe, and unlike some other multiplayer games I've done, it was fun just jumping in with random people and fighting off all the hiss and all the supernatural stuff inside the oldest house. It was fun, and I haven't done anything like this before, so it was a nice new game, and while I had fun with it, it's not the game of the year, but still, I'd recommend it. It's worth your time and your money.
Replay.
Ghosts of Tsushima. To get ready for the release of Ghosts of Yote, me and my friends, on our multiplayer night sessions, we actually played a couple rounds of Ghosts of Tsushima multiplayer. It was fun. There were some areas that were a little frustrating, as multiplayer does, but it was great to be able to group up with 3 other people and try to take on the story missions again for multiplayer. It was fun, and it was a nice way to get ready for the new game, and a nice look back at what we had previously.
Last time on Aperture Gaming.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. As I said in a previous award, I was actually alive during the 1990s, and during that time, I also got to be part of the Power Rangers fandom. Now, when we got the Netflix film, Power Rangers Forever, it was great because that gave me an excuse to watch the film and then play this game. And I loved it. I loved both. I loved the original series, I loved the first movie, I loved the Netflix film, and I definitely love this game. It has the look and feel of a game from the 90s. It was just, the nostalgia factor is strong with this. I enjoyed it, and it did play well, so it was a fun thing to enjoy all around, both playing it and remembering all the good times and good memories I had associated with this franchise.
Great Expectations, the Charles Dickens Award for upcoming titles.
As the world continues to wait for Grand Theft Auto 6, who had the release date pushed back yet again, there are some titles that are currently coming out or slated to be coming out for 2026. I can't list them all because that would take too much time, and I'm pretty sure I forgot a few, but here are the titles that I have heard are coming out in 2026 that I am excited for, in alphabetical order.
.007 First Light, Ace Combat 8, Aces of Thunder, Aether and Iron, Agefield High, Rock the School, Animula Nook, Bradley the Badger, Broken Sword, The Smoking Mirror Reforged, Canvas City, Control, Resonant, Danger Mouse, Dead Watch, DFP, Disappear from Polesia, Earth Must Die, Engine Fall, Far Far West, Hello Sunshine, Into the Unwell, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, Lord of Metal, Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection, Mixtape, Mouse PI for Hire, My Hero Academia, All's Justice, No Straight Roads 2, Orbitals, Out of Words, Pragmata, Roadside Research, Rock Beasts, Romeo is a Dead Man, Screamer, Sea of Remnants, Showa American Story, Star Wars Galactic Racer, Styx, Blades of Greed, The Cube, There Are No Ghosts at the Grand, Tomb Raider Catalyst, that's either next year or 2027, Wax Heads, Witch Spire, and Yoshi and the Mysterious Book.
The Aperture Gaming Reviews Co-op Award, Star Trucker. Yeah, so when I started doing the Aperture Co-op Awards at the start of this year, this was one of the choices, and it was played, and I really enjoyed it. Why? Well, in the past I have played some Gundam-based games before, but I've also only played 2 other trucking games before I played this one. So I like how they took the concept of trucking, but they threw it in space, and it somehow just seems to work. It was enjoyable, and I liked how it combines elements of the sci-fi genre with something that involved transporting goods and services from one place to another, but with hyperspace and zero gravity, and how I'd seen the show Dallas and Robo, so it was a nice reminder of that. The Aperture Gaming Co-op Viewer's Choice Award, Cult of the Lamb. Now, of the 6 available titles I had at the start of the year, this was not one of them. However, after reviewing the game Lies of P, someone suggested Cult of the Lamb in another title. And seeing as how I had Cult of the Lamb in my library, I was like, you know what, let's give this a shot. Not only am I glad that I had it in my library, but I'm glad I gave it the chance. It's so weird having the cutesy art style, but set in the very dark environment. It's kind of like I said, like Happy Tree Friends of sorts. So yeah, I found the title, it was funny, it was entertaining, and with a unique art style that balances the cute with the old cult. So very interesting mashup there.
The Big 3.
DLC, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, The Order of Giants. I liked this game. I thought it was very fun. I thought the voice work for the person portraying Dr. Jones did a very good job making it sound like him. And I just really enjoyed the game. I had fun playing it. And the fact that they were able to somehow find a way to get a DLC in there of an entire new story thing added, that was amazing. I think it's pretty cool. So I was glad that, so I ordered the main game and then I pre-ordered the DLC. I'm glad I got it. Now, honestly, I was thinking about awarding the DLC award to the newest DLC for Pacific Drive, but I was like, wait a minute. Pacific Drive took home the DLC of the year and Game of the Year, so I didn't want to be, constantly showing favoritism to one game in particular. But yeah, so congratulations to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, especially the Order of the Giants DLC. Team Capcom. I have previously stated that my introduction to the Monster Hunter franchise was first in Monster Hunter World, back when the world was first shut down and I was thrust into the world of multiplayer. But I was really happy with Monster Hunter Wilds this year. Capcom made an effort so that's like, oh, welcome to the Monster Hunter franchise. While we are known infamously for having games that are super difficult, we're going to kind of dial back the difficulty a little bit so we don't scare off potential new customers to our new fan base. And then after you get good at the game, then they dial it up to normal, or Capcom normal. And I've been playing Monster Hunter Wilds a lot this year. Me and my friends, we've been grouping together. It's been a fun thing to play. Also, now it's interesting. I've heard from one of my friends how Capcom is having some technical difficulties on one of the ways they provide the game, but they are actively working on it. So it is nice to know that this game... Yeah, so this is why I say Capcom needs to be Studio of the Year, because they made a game franchise that they know accessible for everyone, and they are still actively working on trying to fix a problem.
Game of the Year.
Ghosts of Yote. This year I was looking forward to a lot of games, but this one was definitely on the top tier list. Especially the fact that how me and my friends had been playing Ghosts of Tsushima multiplayer to get ready for this, because in 2026 it will get a multiplayer feature. Which is why I technically couldn't give it the best single player award, because it'll eventually be a multiplayer game. But yeah, the game is fun. So even though I've played the Where the Winds Meet, and then when I played like Rise of the Ronin last year, yeah, so even though I've had like an influx of all these games that are either from China or Japan in origin or history and setting, this one I just really enjoyed because it was a sequel, it was a franchise that I've known, I love the Easter eggs, I love the combat, everything about this, it just felt familiar from a game that I played previously, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I highly recommend it, so yes, congratulations to Ghosts of Yote. This is your 2025 Game of the Year. Well, there you have it. That is the year of 2025 in video games in review. We had a bit of a rough start, but things seem to be going pretty good at the end there. We thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this show. Now, this will be the last video game related review content we'll be posting on this channel for this year. We might try to get another review of something else out before this year ends or early next year, but we have one more thing we need to review. But here's what, after this show, we here at Aperture Gaming Reviews, we're going to take a little time off. We need to go on vacation, and we need to reevaluate how we're going to, present, how we'll be doing this show for next year. Anyway, like I said, we hope you enjoyed the 6th annual Aperture Gaming Reviews End of the Year Award Show. Until next time, this has been Test Subject 1337 saying thank you for watching, game on, and have a nice day. As I said before, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We hope you enjoyed this show. Until next time, we look forward to seeing you in 2026. Have a nice day.